Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tacoma Cyclist. I am Tacoma Cyclist, and with me, but not with me, is the Boogeyman. And today, I'm going to talk a little bit about something that I find to be interesting. Maybe some of you will, maybe some of you won't, and if that's the case, just skip right on by. But that is alcohol and training, or alcohol and riding. Now, I'm not talking about like DW or BWI, biking while intoxicated. That's not what I'm talking about. You shouldn't do that either. But I'm not here to talk about what you shouldn't do with regards to drinking. I'm here to talk about, within my training program, how having an evening with alcoholic beverages impacted me. Now, I want to make it really clear. I like beer. I like wine. You've seen some videos, and I'm sure in the background you've seen a pretty extensive wine collection. I'm not talking about like having a beer or having a glass of wine or two with dinner or whatever. I'm talking about, having a party, a little binge drinking, and how that impacted my cycling and my training. It's pretty frequent or pretty common for me to maybe 2 or even 3 times a week, have a pint after a hard workout, right? It's not my recovery drink of choice. Generally, a couple hours afterwards, after I've had food, and maybe I just want to sit down and relax and grab myself a beer. And I typically limit it to a single pint. And again, maybe only 2 to 3 times a week. So generally, I find that doesn't impact my training in any way. Simply having a beer doesn't impact it, doesn't make me feel weaker, doesn't make me feel stronger, doesn't do anything. It's just, it is what it is. However, on Saturday, I made the choice to have a pint and then follow that up with the equivalent of 3 1-ounce pours of scotch, which really isn't that much when you take into consideration that was over the course of about 3.5 hours. But I was surprised to find exactly what that did for me. Now, I'm going to insert some links to a couple, maybe a video or two of some of the scientific research behind alcohol use and bike training or athletic training and the impacts that it may have on you. But I'm going to share with you kind of those anecdotal types of things that I experienced with regards to it. First and foremost, this was Saturday evening. Today's Monday. I did not put up one of my daily videos yesterday. It had nothing to do with that. It was the fact that I was incredibly busy yesterday, and I just simply did not have time to cut video together and put one out. I'd like to do these every day, but every once in a while I may have to miss a day. But in any case, Saturday evening, chose to have a little bit of a drink, and Sunday immediately recognized that there was a challenge. The Boogeyman and I were supposed to go out for a coffee shop ride on Sunday, and that was after about a 3-hour Zone 2 ride on Saturday. So coffee shop ride on Sunday should have been pretty easy. It was Friday rest day, Zone 2, Zone 1 on Saturday. So Sunday should have been pretty straightforward and pretty easy. But interestingly, even though I got a decent amount of sleep and relatively uninterrupted sleep, I woke up very tired on Sunday morning. So I don't think my sleep was very productive. And interestingly, before I started riding, I noticed that my legs kind of felt dead or wooden. I don't really know how to describe it beyond that. They don't feel flexible, they don't feel lively or springy, they feel very non-responsive and just like solid blocks of wood. No big deal. I've had that happen before, but what I found was interesting was, I'm on like day 12, I think, of the training block that I'm trying to do. And up to this point, even after a hard day's efforts, my legs have actually been relatively relaxed. My girlfriend's even noticed, like, if she kind of digs in on my quads, like I kind of like her to do from time to time, they're not super tense, and they have been for as long as I can remember. I mean, as long as I can remember, they've been super tense. For this first 12 days, they haven't been. They've actually been relatively relaxed despite the harder workouts. And I think that's because the easier workouts are very, very easy. So what I noticed is that my legs were very tense, very tight going into Sunday, and they weren't Saturday afternoon after the 3-hour Zone 2 ride. So that was anomaly number one. Anomaly number two was we weren't gone that long on Sunday. We did a relatively normal loop, just over 20 miles. Decent amount of climbing, but everything around here is a decent amount of climbing because flat roads are stupid. And throughout that process, I was getting very fatigued very quickly. I couldn't do harder efforts. And I could do like miniature sprint type things, but I would instantly pay for it. Whereas normally I would, if I did a little 800 watt effort up a hill, I would quickly recover and I'd be ready to do it again shortly thereafter. That wasn't the case this time. I would do 600-700 watts up a hill and my legs would feel very bad afterwards. Now, before anybody gets too excited, of course, this is a non-controlled experiment. The variables were not controlled. There are potentially other variables that are at play here. So I can't say definitively that the alcohol was the impetus behind my poor form on Sunday, yesterday, and how I felt. I can say it was probably the single biggest uncontrolled variable. All the other stuff has been relatively similar. That was the only thing that I changed. My diet didn't really change. My structure over the last 2 weeks almost hasn't changed. That's the only significant thing. So I'm comfortable enough in stating that it probably was the alcohol that had that impact on me. Okay, so fast forward. I'm done with the ride, no big deal. And after a coffee shop ride, usually you feel kind of invigorated, you feel ready to go, you feel charged, and it was quite the opposite. I was tired. I felt strongly compelled to take a nap, which was unfortunate because I had a lot of things I had to do yesterday, and a nap wasn't really an option, so I really felt quite fatigued throughout the rest of the day. It's not a surprise that alcohol consumption at night can inhibit your ability to sleep well, and poor sleep can in fact inhibit your ability to exercise well and build adaptations. So I kind of knew that going into it, and I'm not saying I'm just throwing caution to the wind. This is not something I do on a regular basis. In fact, I can count like on one hand the amount of times I've done it in my entire life. So it's not something that I'm overly concerned about. But now, again, after that Sunday ride, fatigued, tired, and my legs were just on fire. They were sore, they're beaten up, and fast forward to today. Today's Monday, it's a rest day. I'm gonna do 45 minutes on the trainer at zone 1. I'm gonna pick a course in Watopia. It's just too ugly outside for me to ride outside. There's massive rainfall right now. So I'll do a 45-minute recovery ride around Watopia. But I can tell you right now, at this point in time, my legs feel bad enough that I want to take Advil. And I don't take Advil just because I want to. In fact, there's a lot of scientific research that suggests taking anti-inflammatory drugs while doing training can actually inhibit your response mechanism to that training. So I'm very conscientious to not do that. But I can tell you that the soreness and the pain in the legs from yesterday's relatively simple ride is intense enough that I feel as though the best way for me to actually have a productive rest day is for me to get rid of the pain. Now, I'm not going to. I'm going to spin lightly tonight, and I mean extremely lightly, and that's the goal, is just to see just how light I can make these pedals go. And then we'll see how prepped I am for tomorrow. Tomorrow's workout's going to be flipping brutal. I'll give you a preview of it here. You can look for it up in this corner right here. I'll show you what that workout's going to look like. Well over 100 TSS for an hour and 20-ish minute workout, so it's not going to be easy. I need to be well rested going into that, and I find it interesting that drinking on a Saturday night can have lasting implications, potentially all the way to impacting my high quality workout on Tuesday. So that's maybe a poor decision that has longer lasting ramifications than I would have expected. But I think we all make those from time to time. So hopefully I can fully recover by tomorrow night and I'll be ready to roll. I know sometimes when I come out of that valley of pain and anguish on the bike, I come back strong or stronger even. And I'm hoping that's the case. I'm really putting all my eggs in that basket. If not, tomorrow night's going to be very, very challenging. It's going to be tough as it is. So in any case, I'm not here to tell you don't drink. That's up to you. I'm not here to tell you what to drink, when to drink, all of that. I don't care. Whatever you want to do is up to you. I'm here sharing my story as to how really just not a whole lot of alcohol has severely and negatively impacted my training. Am I going to swear off beer anytime soon? Nope. I going to swear off wine anytime soon, or scotch or whiskey? Nope, I enjoy those things. I think the key is moderation. For me, that's going to be my key, is stick with a pint. Or if I'm going to have a glass of whiskey, have a single glass of whiskey and that's it. Moderation. And if I want to take my training seriously, then I need to take all facets of my training. That includes my nutrition and the things that may inhibit my training or my nutrition, and that is alcohol consumption. So I won't even get on to recreational drug use. I just, other than to simply say that I don't do it. Not to say I'm against it. You do whatever works for you. The one time that I have taken advantage of a legal recreational drug, I felt like absolute dog crap for about 3 days. So I'm not rushing out to do it ever again. My 4 hours of giggling and fun were not outweighed by the several days afterwards that I was a relatively unproductive member of society, and certainly did not produce anything on this. In fact, it made riding this miserable. So in any case, that's my interesting vlog for today. I'm sure that this will be met with either nobody watching it or everybody that watches it giving thumbs down. Feel free if you want to. I'd love to hear your comments. I'd love to hear what your responses to this are. This is a very simple, straightforward video, and I'm not intending it for it to be anything else other than that. This is not intended to be a life lesson. You do you. I'm telling you how I was impacted and how I'm going to use the knowledge that I've gained from that impact to shape my decisions for the future. And I think that's what the purpose of this vlog is. So that's all I've got for today. I hope you've enjoyed listening to my weird story. And again, please share some stuff down there in the comments, your own personal experiences, your own thoughts. You can tell me how crazy you think I am. I'm okay with all of that. So thanks again for joining me, and stay tuned. Tomorrow I'm going to have a very, very challenging workout, and I will provide you details for that. Thanks a bunch, and see you again soon.